Wanted to do another video. I don't know if people saw yesterday's video where I was just sort of walking around, gauging what was going on here in New York City. That's interesting too, because you know, I walk by this every day. This is FIT. They've got this, every year they kind of do this like student art deal. FIT is the Fashion Institute of Technology. And this is a really nice installation. While everybody is at home freaking out about the coronavirus pandemic, I thought they might want to see this sort of art gallery on the street here of student art. I can't say that I know much about this other than it's some sort of annual, I don't know if it's a contest or what, but the Fashion Institute of Technology, I guess, is a college all about fashion. And then this seems to have a theme of like, I don't know, each different mural is for like a different year, so people can kind of, you know, check out these different images, and they contain stuff that's relevant. I guess 1953 is maybe when the Peter Pan movie came out, so they got that. And they got the names. I think you can kind of like follow the artists, the students, on probably Instagram. So this is a cool thing for people to see. 1955. We got Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show, 1956. I'm sure some of our viewers will remember this, The Twilight Zone. This is Breakfast at Tiffany's, maybe, I don't know, 1961. Some really nice artwork. I've actually had occasion to be out here. It's 1967. We'll have some people saying something about that. I've had occasion to be out here when they're making these. And you can see the students actually painting these things. Here we see, maybe that's 1974. Is that Muhammad Ali floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee? Oh yeah, and then this has got to be, is it Billie Jean King? That Battle of the Sexes tennis tournament that I think they recently just had a movie about. And then look at this, we got Star Wars over here. Remember that, 1977. It's kind of like a disco Star Wars. We got Princess Leia holding a microphone there. So that's kind of cool. Now, this is interesting. We see New York City with a submarine. I don't know what that's about. But I'm sure people watching will have some more insights into some of this stuff than I will. We got the introduction of Garfield. That's maybe Jane Fonda doing, I forget what the name of her whole video workout deal was. But you got computers, Michael Jackson, Thriller, Bruce Springsteen. I remember that Born in the USA, and you also had Van Halen 1984 that year. So this is the Fashion Institute of Technology. As a matter of fact, I mentioned that when I was walking to Sam Ash yesterday, I saw a family coming to collect their daughter or sister or whoever she was who was leaving FIT because they've closed it. How long is the school closed for? School's closed, right?
They have
so that guy maybe doesn't have the schedule, but it's closed, I can tell you that. And this is actually a relatively new development. They have kind of like a very impressive looking museum in the lobby or the entrance or whatever that is. And then I presume that it's FIT's 75th anniversary based on that. I don't know really anything about FIT except what I learned from walking by it each day. I think we've got Kid and Play maybe right there with the haircut, and this looks like Tupac, Biggie, and what's his name from Nirvana from 1991. We get into Windows, I guess 3.1 in 1992 with that file manager. Some people will remember that. And we got 1994 though. I don't know why we would have Donkey Kong in 1994. I feel like that was more like 1984. Perhaps the Spice Girls there. Like I said, people will know more about this maybe than I do. I think we got Britney Spears in 1999. Not sure what some of this other stuff is. People getting rickrolled on the iPhone in 2006 or 7. And here we got Obama. Yeah. So there we go. A little tour of the art world outside FIT. So I wanted to come out here because I was out earlier this morning and I went to the supermarket. It was fairly replenished. I got some packaged sausages and some chicken and some pasta and stuff so that if we do have a lockdown here in New York City, I'll be able to stay in the apartment, and as long as we have electricity and water and gas, should be okay. The subway is still open as far as I know. They haven't said you can't use it. Trump earlier had a press conference where he advised people to hang out with less than 10 people. See a fire truck going crazy. So now you can experience how loud it is to walk down the street. It's loud. So, I mean, this is definitely a less busy sort of Monday than what we would normally have, but it seems a little bit more back to life than yesterday. I can hear the subway running underneath us right now, so that's good, right? And we had Governor Cuomo give a press conference yesterday where he had recommended that people aggressively consider closing their businesses. I have a hard time contemplating what an aggressive consideration is, but I think he meant close your own business or we're going to close it. He was talking about reducing the capacity, you know, if you could have only essential people coming in or something like that, I guess. But then today they announced that all restaurants and bars will close. And it's interesting because there's been a lot of retail stores closing in New York City anyway as a result of Amazon just basically taking over everything in the retail sector. There's still people there in Sweet Pea, which is some kind of food place I've never been to. The juice shop looks super empty. Starbucks? How's Starbucks doing? That guy's asleep. Starbucks. Yeah, I got an update from Charles earlier. Let's walk through Penn Station and see what's going on over there. I mean, this is like right now, this should be incredibly crowded over here. Just tons of people in taxis and cars and stuff. We're not really seeing that. So we'll go down the Jersey Transit side. It looks like there's some people getting into the train station over there. Let's see what's going on.
Identification checks on board trains. Passengers may be also subject to random security screening. Please use handrails on escalators and stairs and be aware of moving vehicles and monitor children close. Attention please. Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 163 from New York Penn Station and continuing to Washington is now approaching the station. Please stand by for boarding, which will begin momentarily.
Wow, look at that. Beetlejuice on Broadway. That actually seems like that would be interesting. I generally hate Broadway shows, but I like Beetlejuice. And that could be funny. Wow. So this should be teeming with people right now. There should be people just like literally crashing into me from the front, from behind. This should be wall-to-wall people at this time on a Monday. And we've got virtually nobody here. And it looks like everyone is looking at their phone as if they're waiting for some update. I wonder if the trains are delayed. Everybody's looking at their phone. I guess that's normal these days. And then again what is normal. I think we're about to get a new education. The other thing worth noting is that Penn Station is typically a spot where there will be a large number of homeless people. Today is kind of cold. It's about 40 degrees, I would say. And there would normally... Are you guys arriving in New York or leaving?
We're leaving.
Where are you going to?
Germany, back to Germany.
Oh my gosh. So you're going to be quarantined? You mind if I get you on camera? You going to be quarantined when you go back to Germany?
No, I don't think so.
Are you guys afraid of coronavirus?
Not that much, no.
Yeah, you think it's a bioweapon that got out of a lab, or you think this is what do you think it is?
I don't think so.
Natural?
It's natural because we're eating too much animal stuff.
Is that it? And that's too many people eating bats, you think?
Yes, I think so.
You think Donald Trump is doing a bad job of handling coronavirus?
I don't know.
Hard to say, right?
Maybe you
Okay.
can tell us where to find the tickets to Newark.
To Newark?
Yeah.
Well, if you go over here towards the New Jersey Transit side, there's ticket machines and there's a ticket office also. No problem. Okay, so those guys are going to Germany via Newark, which actually is not at all uncommon because that's where the airport is, in Newark. I actually like Newark Airport. So there we go. Some German tourists heading back to Germany, not afraid of coronavirus. Didn't have anything bad to say about Trump, that was good. Didn't get to ask him about Merkel. Nobody is afraid of coronavirus at Krispy Kreme Donuts. They got a lot of donuts there. But this is a remarkably small number of people to be here in Penn Station right now.
Penn Station, Metro Park, Metuchen, Edison, and
There's nobody here.
terminating at Jersey Avenue.
Now keep in mind, there hasn't even been an announcement that you have to stay home or anything like that. This is all just voluntary. So we still see food service people working at the different places. Hudson Books, open. Nathan Hot Dogs. Our Canadian viewers will be pleased that Tim Horton is open. So you gotta get some coffee or something like that. You have Tim Horton there. Wow, payphones. Who's seen a payphone in forever? Didn't even realize they had those there. Okay, so here's a bunch of people hanging out, Jersey Transit. This is where everybody who's going to the airport or to Washington, D.C. or anything like that would be hanging out. So see how that crowd is doing. Ooh, Facebook stock tumbling. I don't know if people saw that on the screen. I would think every stock is tumbling right now. People are becoming concerned.
Select executive members. Passengers traveling in first class on the Acela, business class on the Northeast Regional and Empire services, and sleeping cars on long-distance trains. Uniformed military personnel and families.
So again, there should be just loads of people behind me. This is not normal at all. I know if people aren't from New York and haven't seen the inside of Penn Station before, that might seem like a lot of people, but it isn't. A lot of people buying hot dogs today from Nathan's? Yeah?
Why?
Well, most people aren't around.
Well, the ones that do come, they buy them.
But has it been slower than usual? Okay. Okay. So then don't talk to me. People. There's the post office. How's the food sales going today? How's food sales going today?
What?
Are you running this cart?
Yeah.
How's the sales going today?
No.
Nobody. Sorry about that.
Very slow.
Very slow. Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising at this point. There's nobody around. Here we got a state trooper. That's an unusual thing to see. It's a little reminiscent of 9/11. Actually, the other thing that just happened that's very reminiscent of 9/11. I forgot to tell everybody what the goal of this mission is. So, somebody yesterday put a comment into one of the videos saying that gun stores in New York City are going to be I forget what he said, sold out or something. But I said to that commenter, there are no gun stores in New York City. And then I said to myself, well, are there? And I looked it up on the internet, and I remembered there is actually one gun store that I was aware of in the East Village, but it's like a police supply store. I'm pretty sure you have to be a cop to go in there. And I think it's right near the police academy. I'm not sure. But, you know, it's not like Louisiana or Texas where you just walk into Bass Pro and there's like a billion guns there that you can just buy. It's definitely much more difficult to get a gun. Here, Lucy's is closed. Much more difficult to get a gun in New York City. But anyway, I figured, oh, well, so I found another one. There's the Beretta Gallery on 63rd Street and Lexington, right near Central Park. So I thought it would be interesting to go up there. I tried calling them many times, but in the second thing that reminded me of 9/11, I couldn't get through. It was giving me this message from the phone company saying that they can't complete the call. And I had the same problem when I tried to call my parents' landline. So I suspect that everybody sitting at home not going to work is overburdening the phone network. And there's probably too many phone calls happening at the exact same time for them to complete all the calls, which is pretty staggering when you consider that. But I tried calling them several times and couldn't get through, so I figured I'd just go up there and see what's what. Maybe I'll ride the subway for a portion of this trip, but that introduces all kinds of complications. So, I mean, this is definitely reduced traffic for an afternoon, Monday afternoon. I think people can see the Empire State Building there. And this is Midtown Manhattan. We're very close to where 21st Century 3D's offices used to be. Changed a lot of it since I used to come around here all the time. This whole party city and all this stuff, this is new, relatively new. But we get a good idea of what's going on and who's around. Yeah, so people are concerned. Oh, there's a Renaissance hotel here now. It's a strange place for a hotel. People are concerned that, you know, in addition to the closure of restaurants and bars, as was announced earlier today for the tri-state area, that maybe other things will be closed. They might lock everybody down. Earlier today, we had an episode of Light on Conspiracies with Ole Damagard. Cody Snodgrass joined us. Ole and his family are on lockdown in their home in Spain, not allowed to leave. And they said you can only leave to go to the supermarket or to the tobacco store. So that's weird. But how do they know? I mean, if you're out on the street, who stops you from going out? How do they know what you're out for? And I mean, you know, we sort of already have, in certain instances, a problem with prosecutors and law enforcement overreaching if we now give them the opportunity to arrest you for even leaving your house. Seems like, wow, look at that. No line at a deli right here. That's very surprising. That those guys with the luggage and stolen electronics store, totally empty. Oh yeah, that stupid Weed World company has a store around here somewhere, that fake weed company. I think it's around here. So it's quite a walk that we're on. I was trying to arrange to have Mike Moore join me, because Mike is always quite funny, and we're just having some difficulty getting the tech to work, and Mike was busy. I just wanted to come out here and do this while they continue to allow us to roam the streets. I'm going to exercise that freedom. We've heard some people say that it's irresponsible to go out to a restaurant. This is Weed World. This is this stupid store selling fake weed and playing loud music. Marijuana is not legal in New York, so I don't understand how this store can exist. And I don't think selling fake weed is legal either. So that's a mystery. But there it is. Let's see if we can. How would you describe the level of traffic today? How would you describe the level of traffic today?
Traffic not too much.
Low, right?
Yeah, low.
Compared to a normal Monday like this?
Yeah.
Half? 1/3?
No, 1/3.
1/3.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So NYPD traffic cop, 1/3. I mean, I guess I'm kind of suggesting that, but he's obviously not taking any kind of scientific measure. I mean, I say it's at least 1/3, maybe 1/4, maybe less. I mean, again, this is usually bumper to bumper, cars just totally clogging the streets, and now we see the light is still green and there's no cars coming at all. I don't know that I've ever seen that before when there hasn't been snow on the ground completely. Hey, has there been any impact on the mail from the virus? Any impact on the volume of mail from the virus?
Does anything impact the mail? Well, the mail's still coming and we're still delivering.
Any more, any less?
Same.
Mail's not affected. That's interesting. All right, so no noticeable impact on the mail. I guess that's good. If anybody wants to mail stuff, there's somebody wearing a coronavirus mask. They said that you can get it through your eyes, and I think viruses are microscopic, so I don't understand if that mask will actually do anything, but there's just so much conflicting information that we've been getting. It's hard to really know who to listen to on any of this stuff. You know, I mean, here's jewelry stores I'm passing by. They're all open, but I can't imagine anybody is going in there buying jewelry on a day like today. So Chipotle offering pickup orders only. Nobody in the Chipotle. We just got that guy. Oh, and he took a blast of Purell on the way in, so Purell's got to be loving it. Here's a deli that would normally, I'm sure, be filled. See, businesses like this that have fresh food in there, that if people don't eat it, they throw it away. And if they don't make money every day, they're going to miss their rent. I don't think businesses like that can survive for 2 months without a steady flow of traffic. I mean, we see it here in New York even when there's not a virus going on. Like, you're sometimes surprised that places that you thought were kind of busy close, but they just can't keep up with the constant need for, you got to make money. A lot of people at work today? A lot of people stay home from work today?
We're working half staff.
What kind of work do you do?
Textiles, retail wholesale.
And do they say anything about the rest of the week? They're going to keep the company open?
We're going to try.
Wow, all right, good luck. So there we go, textiles. Oh yeah, we're in the fashion area now. They have this giant button. And I do believe my former client and friend Norma Kamali has a star of some kind over here. This guy is going crazy in the Come to New York, do not drive like that. This is not a drag race. And that's a good thing to do if you're a dummy. Here's an Uber, empty, that's rare to see. Taxi with the light on.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a tailor. I don't know if people have been here before. There were like some plaques on the ground or something. I'm pretty sure one of them, I don't remember where that was. Not important right now. There are still people out. H&R Block, I think Rand Paul had suggested that they delay tax day. Here's the weed company again. I mean, again, I can't overemphasize how much I recommend you do not patronize this thing. Fruit vendors there. I mean, you know, those guys buy up all the fruit, and if they don't sell it, they're screwed. People will now say something about me scratching my face. So we're approaching Times Square. This will be a good apples to apples comparison for everybody. We can see the sushi place empty. Paris baguette, one person. Oh, I went by the Empire State Building yesterday, and they were trying to convince me that it was crowded and I should go up there. But I know it wasn't. I actually meant to go up. I love going up to the Empire State Building, but it's always super crowded. So maybe I'll try to go tonight after the Moriartys. We're going to have a great episode with Jimmy and Joanne. I didn't realize this, but they're kind of almost off-grid. So for them, they feel like, you know, they were already hunkered down and kind of self-isolating because of all the trouble they've had from DIA and FBI and everybody coming to their house. So here's Ruby Tuesday. I mean, again, these are all, see the waiters are just like texting and waiting around. It doesn't look like anybody's been in there all day. Got a giant Red Lobster across the way. Norwegian cruise ads. That dude just coughed right at me. Nice. This happens every day in New York City. There's tons of viruses around all the time. Here we see the cops and the subway there. How's the tourist traffic been compared to other days?
Slow.
How much slower would you say it is than normal?
Slow.
Like less than half? Zero. You know, some people have told me that they feel that black people are not susceptible to coronavirus. Have you heard that?
I don't believe in that.
Don't believe that.
Sickness has no race.
Good point. Good luck. See you, man. That was a sensible answer. Yeah, we have no idea. I think that guy who was working for Whole Foods or Amazon or whatever was kind of kidding. But I don't know. We haven't really learned too much about the identities of the victims. Haven't heard, at least I haven't heard, testimonials from family members. Haven't seen Facebook videos of people in hospital beds. I mean, I can think about, like, over the years, different friends of mine who have been ill, some who have recovered, some who have not. But I think generally when people are like sequestered in the hospital and have a lot of time on their hands, if they have the phone, some people are prone to doing this, certainly younger people, more than over 60, over 70, who we hear are, or we had been hearing were the most susceptible. I think people post little videos on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and wherever. I mean, I've seen it, where they're in the hospital and they explain to all their people who are messaging them, hey, here's a blast about what's happening to me. I haven't seen any of those. I don't know anybody who has a family member, thank goodness, who has the thing. I don't know anybody who knows anybody who has it. And Ole brought up a great point on his show earlier today. Ole was saying that, you know, coronavirus is a generic term. COVID-19 is the strain of this coronavirus that has been in the news lately. I mean, this is really unbelievable. There's just nobody around in Times Square. I don't know if people, you know, it's Monday. I don't know if spring break has started yet, but this is really very unusual. Anyway, so this, you know, coronavirus, they're everywhere, and when we hear one person has coronavirus in this county or that county, how do we know if it's COVID-19 or some other coronavirus or a false positive? Hey, what do you guys think about the level of traffic right here at Times Square now? You guys are here in Times Square every day, right?
We cannot talk about it.
No?
The company knows no, we cannot give no interviews.
No interviews? Don't you work for the city though? Times Square Alliance
we work for the public
No
sector.
interviews. All right, well, that's understandable. Thanks. There's nobody here, is basically what it comes down to. What the company doesn't want you giving an interview about the fact that there's nobody here. Yeah, I guess those guys aren't trained as media spokespeople. Hey, wow, you know what I just realized? This sign made me realize that all the fake superheroes aren't even here today. That is something else. Those guys are usually waiting around to punch people that don't tip them for taking pictures with them. But I don't see any. I think I see a news guy. What's he got there? No, skis? What does he got? Stilts. Oh yeah, those are jumping stilts or something. And here's something that you probably can't normally do, Segway in Times Square. Hey, have you girls ever ridden Segways through Times Square before? You ever ride these through before, or it's usually too crowded?
We do what the fuck we want. No, we do this every day, sir.
You do?
Yeah.
So it's a lot less people today, right? No, well, all right, they do that every day. I thought you weren't allowed to ride those things in the city, but whatever. I mean, I really don't need to ask people. It's clear. There's just nobody here. I think I mentioned it yesterday. You normally can't even walk at normal full speed through Times Square because there's so many people. You have to stop and move left and right and find your spot. There's a tour bus. Usually the top would be filled with people. It's empty. So I've now seen people going back to Germany, Norway, Iowa, the distant country of Iowa. And there's TKTS. Usually those bleachers are filled. Today, empty. The only nationwide 5G is apparently here. Police are still out. That's good. Gotta love a husky. It's a good kind of dog. So it's a pretty long walk to this gun store. I should have thought of that and maybe taken the subway. So I think these guys look like they're normally out here probably performing. The guy had a jacket that said the art of rap. So I presume they're usually out there rapping, but there's nobody watching and nobody around. So even buskers are being hit. I don't know if you'd call street rapping busking or whatever, but you know, I know these guys rely on this as their income, and with no tourists, what are they going to do? Wonder how these hotels are doing. Yeah, I mean, anybody in these businesses that I talk to are probably going to say they can't talk because the company told them not to, but we can see this Hershey's store is totally empty. And I mean, I guess we got Easter coming soon, so people would normally be in there buying stuff, eating candy. Hey guys, how's the traffic been today? How's the traffic been today? Nobody. You gonna close the store?
I don't know.
Take it easy, good luck. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody. There's nobody in any of these stores. And I mean, this is the exact type of store where, I mean, look at the items these guys are selling. They're relying on volume, you know? 3 hats for $10.99. They gotta move this stuff out of there. And I just wonder how many, like, empty days a place like that, any of these places, can endure. Now look at the size of this pub here. This is very big, TSQ Brasserie. There's not a single person in there. I don't know if people can see with the glare. There's nobody in there. Oh, there's one person at the bar. 2 people at the bar. And it looks like the president's on the TV. Mayor discusses city's response to coronavirus. It's interesting. De Blasio is discussing the city's response. I wonder how Platinum Dolls is doing. Who would go to a strip club in the middle of a virus outbreak? Movie theaters have been closed. Bars, restaurants, movie theaters ordered closed. Here's another souvenir store totally empty. That guy looks sad. Salesman. And we have an occupied cab, so there we go. At least some people are still going about their daily business as usual. Let's see. Super Runner store looks closed. I guess people don't need running shoes on a day like today. A lot of people just sort of filming the emptiness. I think this is the guy I spoke to the other day. He said there was kind of nothing going on. Custom shirt place, Godiva chocolate place. Well, there's somebody in there buying Godiva chocolate. So all is not lost. Whoops. Oh yeah, here's Beetlejuice right now at the Winter Garden Theater. That's cool. So I think that's the back of the Winter Garden Theater. Whoops. Sometimes interesting for people, if you haven't been to New York City. Here, this is an ad that you're probably not going to see too much longer. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Good news, actually. Right before I came out, I received a phone call. I've been selected. I won a free 4-day cruise. All I had to do was call them back at whatever number. Hey, you think I should go? I don't think anybody, I mean, I shouldn't laugh. It's going to hurt that industry too. I don't think anybody is going to go on a cruise for a long time after this. You know, we were talking, who was it that we were talking to that was talking about, or maybe I was just listening to the danger of being on these cruise ships. I really would like somebody to help me understand how this fake weed company can exist and have so many people. Oh, he's got tickets all over the van there. I don't understand how they can have these weed vans all over the city selling something that is illegal and selling a fake version of it. That doesn't make sense to me. So I've got to get a little east. Oh, you know what? We could check out what's going on in Trump Tower. That'll be cool. Pret a Manger closed. Rosie O'Grady's, can't tell. So see, I mean, a guy like this, they load up the truck with food, you come out, spend all day there, no money. The food businesses are in trouble because those guys, you can't even stay neutral, you know? If you buy all that food and people don't eat it, you just lost money. And the same with restaurants. This just comes out of nowhere. If people had a chance to see that Governor Cuomo press conference, here's a guy banging on the door for urban space. Are they allowing only one person in there at a time? During that press conference, it's pretty funny. The Cuomo press conference, he was like channeling Tony Montana, like berating these reporters who were asking him questions. But he I think people should watch it. I want to watch it again. He was talking about how, you know, government is going to stay open, and then the reporter was asking him, well, why does he want to close every other business if he's going to keep the government open? And he was saying, you know, you don't join the military if you don't want to be in the war. I mean, I agree with him. Certainly critical people within the government. I think you want the cops to keep working in the fire department. I mean, certain people need to keep working or society just totally breaks down. I don't know. It's hard to say what the right decision is here. I think we have just a lot of bad information about what's actually going on. I wonder what happens to like supremely expensive restaurants like this. Ocean Prime, I think, is a pretty fancy place. There's a sign on their door. Let's see what it says. We're too fancy to be open, or because of coronavirus and the governor will close. It'll be closed until further notice for the safety of our guests and our associates as of 2 o'clock this afternoon. Doors will be closing at 3. Yeah, I mean, so if you work there, now what? What's the governor going to do with that? He was talking about how, this is what struck me. He was talking about how they need to engage the private sector to have more tests for coronavirus, which, I don't know. How do we know these tests are accurate? You know, it seems to me, he was talking about hundreds of thousands of tests. Trump is talking about $50 billion. Cuomo was adamant that the FDA needs to get out of the way. So it just sounds to me like a recipe for slipping in a lot of contracts to, I don't know, if you're talking about hundreds of thousands of companies or you want to get involved, or hundreds of thousands of tests, and you're telling me that rushing all of that is going to make sure that there's no mistakes and that there's nobody taking advantage of that and nobody just trying to sell tests. And how do we know that if this coronavirus is a generic thing that's all over the place, how do we know if somebody has a strain that's actually dangerous versus a strain that's very similar to the flu? I just don't feel like we're getting very good answers. This is the Hilton where, this is where I was the night Trump was elected. Fox News is right down there. And then I came up over to here to try to go to the Hilton. But huge line, you couldn't get in. You got the MoMA down there. And if people like Brazilian food, you got Fogo de Chão right across the street. That place is awesome. I'm sure they're closed. I mean, every restaurant is closed. It's all closed. Makeup place is open. Nobody's in there. I mean, who needs makeup if you're just going to sit at home locked inside? That's another industry that'll be hurt. Starbucks. Oh, and by the way, I mean, this lobby to the Hilton is usually packed, and now it's empty. Let's take a look. Oh, they're going to probably tell me you're not allowed to film in there. Well, let's see what they say. Wow. I've never been in here when it wasn't jam-packed. For people who have been to this Hilton before. So guys, what happened? Did everybody check out and go home?
Oh, the hotel is about 30-something floor closed.
How many?
About 30-something.
30-something floors are closed. So everybody checked out and went home?
No, we're low occupancy right now. Occupancy is very low right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been in this lobby and not seen a million people everywhere. It's very, very strange to see. Yeah. Well, comedy is still alive. That's good. Wiseassery will never die in New York City. And that's good to know. Keeping it alive. So, I mean, I don't know. I hope people don't feel like I'm being irresponsible by being outside here. I mean, they're saying that you can transmit it if you don't have any symptoms, but I'm not getting close to any of these people. I don't have symptoms. I'm not sneezing on anybody. And if I get sick, I won't go to the hospital. I'll just stay at home and ride it out. So I'm not gonna, look, they got a lot of water for sale. That's an unusually large amount of water for the newsstand to be selling. Oh, there's the Ziegfeld Theater, which is out of business. But I've got to get over to, we're on 6th Ave here. Let's go over to 5th Ave. We'll check out what's going on in Trump Tower, and then we'll try to make it up to the Beretta store. I have a feeling they're closed. I also have a feeling that you cannot own a 9mm pistol in New York City. But I like Berettas, and I think it'll be interesting to check that place out, and I had no idea that it existed. So now, as far as I know, there are potentially 2 gun stores in New York City, one of which I'm pretty sure you have to be a cop to go to, and the other is this Beretta place, which was unclear from the website if the New York store is just selling like leather jackets and fancy items with the Beretta brand, or if they actually sell guns. I can't imagine that they're selling guns, but we'll see. Here's the pub. Yeah, they're all going to say to the valued customers, we're closed. Even to the customers they don't value, they're closed. I mean, I wonder what's going to happen. This has never happened before. Every place says, sorry, we're closed. Have no fear. Mozzarella is here. Oh no, low battery. Let's hope this can last. Should be charging from the thing. It's always a lot of production challenges, so now I've got to step up the pace. I definitely don't want to not make it to the Beretta store. You know, when there's a blizzard or something, I really do enjoy walking around Manhattan in the quiet, but there's a kind of certainty with a blizzard that the snow is going to melt and everything's going to come back to normal. Obviously that'll happen here too, but there's a bit of uncertainty right now just in terms of the winds and all that. And as Charles always says, uncertainty, I think it's Charles who tells me that, it's not good for the stock market, I believe, which we all know is doing badly. Now, it's interesting, I don't see a lot of homeless people around, and you would think there would be, like there were none in Penn Station, which is unusual. I mean, maybe not none, but I didn't see any. I would have expected a higher concentration because, you know, if there's nobody out walking around in the streets when homeless people are typically panhandling and kind of trying to hit people up for money, I wonder where they go. Have you guys seen any coronavirus patients? Not a one. Any at all? Never. What hospital?
NYC.
And not a single coronavirus patient that you're aware of in there?
Not that I know of.
Thanks. So there's an ambulance driving for NYU. By the way, NYU owns almost every hospital now. And that's the second ambulance driver to tell me they're not aware of any coronavirus patients. Well, we got Trump Tower right over there. I wonder if they'll let me in. What the safety protocol is for... So we got all these fancy watch stores around here. I don't know if people are buying jewelry and watches when we've got the coronavirus out here freaking people out. There's usually also a lot of people protesting President Trump outside of Trump Tower, but maybe there's not today. Is this bus empty again? Let's ask the bus driver. Is the bus driver opening the door? Nah, well, yeah, I really hate buses. This guy's not paying attention to anything, and he's more likely to run somebody over than be helpful at all. I really do hate buses. They drive recklessly. All the downside of riding in your own car combined with all the downside of riding in public transportation. Why would you want it? I hate the bus. There's like nobody around. This place, I know it's open. They got a security guard there. James Bond's favorite watch. They're all just standing around. I thought James Bond wore a Submariner. I guess it depends who's paying the product placement. So let's see what they say about Trump Tower. Gucci. People guarding the doors like, I don't know. So Trump Tower seems open. Any special protocols in place at Trump Tower for coronavirus?
I think she said $70.
Walk inside and I'll let you know.
She goes, that's
Yeah.
almost like.
Attention. By entering this area, consent to search. So it looks like anybody can come in. Not a lot of people here today. Any special protocols in place for coronavirus? What's that? Yeah, no, I'm not going to enter. I just wanted to get an idea of who was around, if it was busy at all. No, yeah. All right, thanks. Get the Secret Service there. It's interesting, always interesting to check out Trump Tower. Could get a taco bowl, but have to do that another day. There's usually a ton of people around, but today, no. Almost none. Okay, so we're approaching Central Park here. That was walking really close to me. Let's see, so this place, it's on Lexington, I think. Let's see what's going on in Central Park. I mean, people who've spent time here in New York can appreciate this is 57th Street. It is not usually this empty. Nobody around. Look at that ad. 24/7 medical advice over video chat. All right. So we're also going to pass by the Apple store. I guess Apple will take credit for, closing before, the city closed or whatever. But, I mean, all we're seeing inside, is Louis Vuitton. Every single one of these stores, we just see a security guard standing right at the door. Nobody in the place. Bergdorf Goodman. It's pretty weird. Hey, look at those eyebrows. Okay, interesting. Joe Biden. This has got to be about Joe Biden. Hairy legs. Where are the kids? That's an empty Bergdorf Goodman. And here is the famous Apple Fifth Avenue store, 24/7. Now they were doing some construction to it, so it had moved over to there, where that security guy is standing. I think it's probably still there, which is why he's guarding it. And this thing, you know, looks like there's some guards inside there too. So I wonder, we're only about 4 blocks away from the Beretta store. I hope the battery will hold. Yeah, it looks like Tim Cook right there, cleaning the glass, but it's not. I think he's busy banning Alex Jones from iTunes or whatever he's doing. Here's Central Park. I don't know that I've done too many videos in Central Park. I don't know if have I done any videos in Central Park. I can't really recall. I mean, not for Crowdsource the Truth. I've done videos there before. Probably shouldn't do that. Don't want to be in the hospital with a broken leg. Okay, so nobody. Cipriani is going to be closed. It's a restaurant. Just a few blocks away here. So this is an area where usually it's not exactly hot and it's not exactly the height of the day, but there should be people teeming all over these streets. And nobody. Let's see what this guy says. Anybody buying hot dogs today?
Sorry?
Anybody buying any food from you today?
Yeah, food, yeah.
How is it compared to other days?
Sorry?
How's the sales been? Busy or no?
No, it's slow.
Nobody.
Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So nobody's buying food today?
No.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I mean, I think we get the idea. There might be an initial language barrier there, but it doesn't seem like there's anybody buying too much food. Here we got another taxi with the light on, so that's empty. Park is totally empty. Here's a guy enjoying the empty streets, cruising on his, can we see him on, what's the name of that kind of skateboard? Zach Voorhees was talking about that with John Cullen. I forgot the name of the electric skateboard, but that dude seemed to be enjoying the open streets. Oh, do we know what this is? This is the Pierre Hotel, where this event 201 took place. Is the hotel open?
Yes.
But I mean, it's virtually empty, right? I mean, almost all these hotels are totally empty.
100%.
100% full. Do you know about this thing, Event 201? Did you hear about that in October that took place at the hotel? What?
Yellow cab is 100% no customer.
Say again?
Yellow cab 100% no customer.
100% no customers? All day?
All day I have started 1 hour, no customer yet.
No customers for you today. So what happens? How many days can you drive with no customers before you have a serious problem?
I just see a couple of days, otherwise already my owner make a half lease, and if a couple of days no customer, I give him car back, that's all. I sit home what to do.
But I mean, won't you have a financial problem driving around a few days with no passengers?
No, I just trying my good luck, what to do. You cannot sit at home. You have a hope, maybe you get a customer. Every minute we have a hope, maybe come. Like yesterday I worked 14, 15 hours. 71 I make a credit card and $26, which is not a lease even. Before last week I pay $850 for the lease.
Ah, so you rent the car and now you need to make the money back or you lose out on the rental of this taxi.
Now I go to him, he make a half of it. But even then, if I didn't find a customer, you see all the lights on.
No, I know. There's nobody around. Exactly. Every taxi has the light on.
If you are talking to the media, tell them, why don't you take a step when the thing has happened? Until last week we are fine. Why all of a sudden Bush, you remember that there is a virus and these people are very up to date and they are superpower. They knows every single thing. Why did they take step after 2-3 months later?
It's a good question.
My sister lives in Bahrain They have 60 cases, 10 cases recovered. They put them separate, school are closed. But after 2 months, 3 months, why they took a step? Why they are late as a superpower?
I don't know.
Why they hurt the business of billions of dollars, of billions of people? We cannot eat bread and butter.
I see all the cabs have the lights on.
Lights
Hey,
on,
listen,
you know
good
that
luck
much.
to you, man. Take care.
Love you, thank you.
Take care.
I was joking.
You know about that Event 201?
What?
Event 201? Oh, you were joking about the hotel
Yeah.
being full. It's empty, obviously.
Of course.
But you don't know about that Event 201? That simulated a pandemic outbreak? It took place in this hotel. It was a big event. This is the Pierre, right? Yeah. Anyway, have a good day. So there's the Pierre Hotel where Event 201 took place in October. I mean, it stands to reason that the doorman would have no idea, you know, what is going on inside there. He's just letting people into the hotel. But there we go, firsthand from the taxi driver. I don't know if he answered the question. I couldn't hear him that well, but I'm curious to know. I mean, so I sort of knew that. Here's another taxi with the light on. That the drivers, there's a real limited number of taxi drivers, I think, who own their own taxis. But mostly what they're doing is they go to these taxi dispatch companies that own a fleet of taxis, and they pay a fee to rent the taxi. And then whatever money they make, they keep. So the taxi company gets its money from the drivers, and the drivers get their money from the passengers. And if this guy rented the taxi for $850 and only makes back half of it, I mean, again, we got another person who's in this situation of working to lose money. So it seems to me that you can't sustain that for very long at all. I tried it, and you just can't do it. Now we're right around where this place is supposed to be, because the thing that's weird is when I looked up on the internet gun stores in New York City, it was talking about the Armory, which apparently there's some kind of armory here in Central Park, which I did not know about. And it's got to be right around here because this place is on 63rd Street. So, I don't know, maybe I'll take a cab back downtown to patronize some of the cabs. Although I really dislike taxis. I think they could be eliminated and the city would be better off. Well, maybe that's the Armory inside the park. I don't know. I don't know how you get to that or who it's an armory for. I thought that was the zoo. There's a Central Park Zoo. Do people know about that? Oh, maybe that's the armory. That thing's kind of like fortress-like. So let's see. Here's the traffic. You know, they always have these movies where, you know, something happens and the population gets wiped out and then there's like nothing. It's not there. It's not there yet. Not that I want it to be, but it gives you a taste of what things would be like. You couldn't sustain a city like this without all the people in it, because everybody working all these businesses and maintaining all these buildings and driving these taxis and driving in these taxis. Like, that's what's going to be tested right now. You know, a day or a week, you know, maybe people can take it, but they're talking about 2 months, or no one knows. They don't have any answers. So let's see if we can find this Beretta place. I doubt they want me in there with the camera, but I don't even know if they'll be open. And I don't even know if they'll be selling guns. So if none of that happens, then we can't really be too disappointed. What's this place? What is this place?
It's regular business.
This is a regular business? But it looks pretty unusual. All right. So that's something that guy doesn't want to tell me about. I don't know what the hell that place is. It's a regular business. No, it isn't. So where is this place? I'm pretty sure it was on Lexington, so I guess it's the next block. Problem is, when I'm recording, I've got all phones occupied, so I can't check the map. Dead. Totally dead. It's just nothing. Oh, there it is, Beretta. Let's see what they say. How's the virus affecting FedEx? More people shipping stuff or less? Any virus effect? More shipping, less shipping?
No.
No noticeable effect. So FedEx doesn't seem to care. Nor the post office. So here is the Beretta. I see a sign already. I'm sure it says we're closed. Apologize for any inconvenience. We'll be closed on Monday. We'll reopen on Tuesday. Damn. All right, well. See, that's the thing. It looks like it might just be selling jackets and fancy backpacks. Beretta Gallery. Cannot really see anything in there other than clothing. Well, all right. There is no gigantic line at the gun store as predicted. I don't even know if that is a gun store as predicted. But I think that's about it. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for Unseen Libya with Jimmy and Joanne Moriarty. We're going to talk about hunkering down and living off-grid in Texas. I'll see everybody later. Thanks for watching.